Welcome everyone to One Hale of a podcast brought to you and sponsored by Hale Law Accident Attorneys. I'm your host, Patrick Hale. This is our very first podcast where we've had a guest on, and we have the honor of having Chris Mandell over here on the podcast. If you want to say hi to the listeners, hopefully they're there.
Well, of course. Eventually, all two of you are going to love this. It's going to be awesome. But this is the beginning. It's the beginning. You can't really judge yet. But I'm really excited to be here. I didn't plan on any of this kind of happening. Pat and I have our children were in school together, and we become friends over time. And we were just chatting the other day. He mentioned that the podcast is coming into play, and I do some weird stuff with my job. Hell yeah, right? Got to throw it all in there. Yeah, I'm happy to be here, man. Being the first person, that's awesome. And good luck with this. This is going to be cool.
Yeah, and so just for people listening, we have it on YouTube, so there's a video portion, or just on podcasts, wherever you get your podcast. Not sure exactly how all this is going to work, but let's get into it. Right. I figured first guest, I wanted to get someone here who, who sort of just had an interesting story. And like Chris already mentioned, our kids went to school together. I met you at a birthday party.
Yep.
Jumping fun, I think it was.
Inflate a Park, it was, yes.
Yeah.
It was a very loud, crazy time, but we definitely, we had our seconds of crossing and talking, and then we became friends over time. And yeah, I guess I'm here because I'm apparently interesting. So we'll see if that fits the bill. I'm hoping it does.
I think you're pretty interesting.
Right.
I think the listeners here are going to think you're interesting. And let's just start off. What do you do? Because it's not exactly a normal job.
It is quite unnormal, but I enjoy, I guess it's normal to me and my family. We're around it enough. So what I do is I run a fossil digging service. Not too far from Sarasota here, about 45 minutes inland in between Arcadia and Bowling Green. We've got 3 locations. We use airboats, swamp buggies, canoes, walk-ins, and we dig for shark teeth and fossils in the Peace River. It's something that I never intended on doing. I just kind of fell in my lap over time. It's awesome. I'm like entirely obsessed with what I do, and it's just so much fun. It's one of those things I've done, some interviews over time, and I always tell people, a lot of folks probably don't even know what this is or what we're talking about. Hopefully we can familiarize you.
Yeah, we're going to get into that.
Right. We'll totally get into it, but it's like that one thing that you never knew you wanted to do, but once you do it, you can't stop. And people are obsessed with this stuff.
So, as you guys can already tell from the quick listen so far, we're going to talk about some shark teeth and fossils, all interesting stuff. And then we know what you do now.
Yes.
But how'd you get into it? You didn't grow up here in Florida.
No, I didn't.
Somehow you're out here on boats in the Mayaca River.
It's weird, isn't it?
Stuff, and alligators about to bite you.
The story, I don't know. It's just such a weird journey. My wife and I have been on such a fun journey, and it's always kind of just bounced off of, I don't want to use the word tragedy, but like drastic change. Yeah. So I, for a very long time, was a antique book dealer. And the reason I was an antique book dealer was I lived in Rochester, New York. And in Lake Ontario, where I was a fisherman, a charter captain, you get 5 good... Yeah, I was a salmon fisherman for 20 years. You get 5 good months of fishing, and you got 7 months of a whole nothing. So what was I doing? Buying and selling whatever I could to kind of make ends meet. We were young, early 20s. And I got into antique books by default. I ended up getting a box of these. Literally, whatever I could find interest in to sell online, I would do. And we ended up picking up this box of old books, 1800s, really interesting old religious books and Bibles and things. And I knew nothing about them. We put them online, huge profit, on just a little bit of investment. We pushed forward, all in a nutshell here. Within 2 years, we were in the top 3% of all sales on eBay.
Oh, wow.
And we ended up getting into some really epic old stuff. I'm talking 1400s, 1500s, early imprints.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
So I just actually bought some books.
Did you?
I forgot about the fact that you got into it in books and everything.
Yep.
Dude, so I just bought some Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, new stuff.
First edition.
Oh, that's cool.
New. It seems old to me. It's
from
the 90s.
Old to me is like 1700s.
Yeah. So first edition. Like Bloomsbury.
Yep.
So the original print in the UK.
Yep.
I got all first edition hardcover.
Yeah.
So my first book, and they call it the Philosopher's Stone instead of the Sorcerer's Stone in the UK. But it was a 3rd print. Okay. And of the first print, so I saw one for sale online. Yeah. On eBay.
Quite chunky.
Yeah. I knew it wasn't right because I realized there was only 500 of the hardcover, printed or whatever, and the price, it was it was not where they actually are. Apparently, they go for like 300,000 or something.
Yes.
So obviously, I didn't spend that much. We're doing well.
Right.
I'm doing real well, but
Right.
not a first edition, first print.
Right.
There's a big difference. They started printing a lot more.
Right.
After that.
That's the thing with like all the newer stuff is like there were so many runs and imprints and variants because it was all factory run stuff. So I kind of, when I started doing that, I cut myself off around 1860 when factories came into play, when big binding presses and everything else were starting to push out mass production. I like the small binderies, the handmade stuff. So, I mean, this could be a separate podcast, the stories I have about books.
I want to hear coolest book.
I did have one thing.
Well,
No, I'm going to say
is wherever it goes. It can be as short as we want.
All right. Well, I'm going to tell you a story about one that's going to apply to you, which is pretty cool.
All right.
Okay. So I dealt with a lot of like early American imprints, say late 1700s, early 1800s. I ended up getting a family Bible that was published in Philadelphia around 1808, I want to say it was. The printer was an Irish printer named Matthew Carey, and he would often, appeal to locals in the area all the way up into New England. So what was important to me wasn't necessarily the book imprint itself. What people used to do in those family Bibles is they would write their family histories.
Yeah.
So lo and behold, the owner of the Bible was Mary Hale.
Mary Hale?
Yes.
You know what's funny?
Wait.
Well, that's my grandmother's name, by the way.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Where are they from?
She's actually a Florida native, at least 5th generation.
Sure.
Or 4th, maybe even older, because
But
we
your
have our
family
own
goes
family
back,
graveyard
right?
in Orlando. Yeah.
Okay.
So
So that's cool.
and like Mount Dora Draddy.
Yep,
That
yep.
was my grandmother's like great grandmother or something.
Do you have ties to New England? I'm sure, right?
I only knew about Florida. I don't know. I don't
Okay.
know.
Well, eventually everybody's from.
Yeah, I
Some
go to
way
my
or
family graveyard and check it out. And
That's cool.
I've never went back and just kept on following people.
Yeah.
Like whoever.
Totally do it. It's
I
such a
want
journey.
It's
You
something
got to do it.
I've been kicking myself out.
You got to do
I
it.
got
Your name's got weight to it. So,
Hell yeah.
So Mary Hale was born in the 1740s or 50s. And I was just interested in the book itself. I thought I invest 100 on this. Maybe I make 250.
All right. So those are like the margins.
Yeah. I was like, it's pretty standard for me to do. That was our standard flip rate. We would move them pretty quick.
Right.
So I opened up the family history of it, and there's an entry in there that kind of changed things. It said, my nephew Nathan was hung by the British.
Oh my
1776.
Nathan,
she wrote, it was Nathan Hale's aunt.
We don't know if we're related to him. I looked into it.
Right.
Nathan Hale, I regret that I have only one life to give
That's
for my
it.
country.
That's the one.
The famous quote.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I don't know if he did anything else. He just.
I think he just kind of martyred a little bit, but
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows
It's
who
probably
it is.
it's
something, right?
Calling card.
Right.
Rounding up the troops. Like,
Right.
Putting the fury and the
Right.
fire in them.
Right. So that was cool.
Wow.
I
Hold on.
thought of that before
So
I got
you
here, too.
didn't sell that one for $250.
No, that one went for much more. Having the mention of Nathan being in there, I think we did $8,500 on that one. I sold to an institution.
How do you get it proved that it is a true? Did they have to look up the historians, look at it and see?
No.
Sure.
The good thing about that is, it is pretty hard to fake that kind of thing. The paper has inlaid watermarks on them. You can tell when the watermarks on the pages are original.
Okay.
A lot of the writing you can't, because of the age of the writing itself, you can't really fabricate that on a book or inside a book. It was pretty obvious the book had been probably found by a great grandson in an attic, put it online. That's what we got a lot of our books.
So he didn't
even open the book up in the middle.
I was about to say, so he didn't look and see like,
Didn't even
by
know
the way, I
Hale.
have this famous relative and
Just saw
maybe
old book.
it could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Bibles, that's what people used to do.
That's everything.
Like
That was the centerpiece.
They put their
Yes.
whole entire family history.
All kinds of things tucked in and everything. Yeah. So that was a cool little thing that we had. I had a lot of those crazy things happen throughout the years. I did that for almost 15 years. And we moved down here. And I don't know if you remember when we were in school. Do you remember when Ian came through? What happened to us?
I don't remember, no.
So Sarasota SRQ magazine did a feature on us and everything. We lost everything. We lost
Oh, wow.
all of our
I knew
books.
that.
Yep, we lost over $500,000 worth of books. So all these early imprints, at the time we were living in South Venice. Ian was projected to hit South Venice directly. So I decided erroneously to move my stuff from South Venice into Northport.
Yeah.
Ian parked over Northport, flooded the house I put it in, which was supposedly flood zone X. Well, it was flood zone A at that point because it was underwater. So we lost it all, which was a big kind of pivot,
Yeah, that's huge. What do you do when something like that?
Right. You don't know what he tells
You don't really have any choice. I guess you just gotta. Every long journey begins with a single step.
Exactly. And the thing was the insurance, because I had moved it from the house I had kept it in to another house, no coverage.
Yep, that's what.
So
happens.
that was
Insurance companies will look for stuff like that. Now I'm going to be talking about law real fast. So also, depending on how you had it insured, then you'd get an argument over how valuable it is. But so just so people know, if you have insurance for something and they ask you where you're keeping it, if you move it from that spot, you don't have insurance on it most of the time.
Where were you? No, I didn't know, because you don't know. You don't, when you have, we were relatively new to Florida at that time. We'd only been, I think, 3 years here, and we were doing 9 months here, 3 months, school year we were here for 8 or 9 months. So it was, it was new to us. It was the first big one coming in that we were going to deal with directly. And we were just kind of like, all right, we just need to protect our livelihood. And it was not protected at that point. We didn't know any better. So
what was I hate to bring up, what was the best book that you had you lost?
I did have something called an incunable, which is a book that was printed before 1499.
And why do they call it that? Is that year?
Incunable is Latin for the baby's cradle. It just is considered one of the earliest printed pieces. 1458 or 60, I think, was the Gutenberg Bible. It was the very first that was ever printed.
I saw Gutenberg actually
Isn't
before.
that cool?
It was in DC, I think.
So cool.
At the Library of Congress, they had one. I think they might have had
with
2.
all the metal adornments.
Only like what, 6 of them or something?
I think they had 6 to 8 of them, if I remember.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of them, but I saw one of them, and it was pretty intense.
They were selling pages. Pages were selling for $500 a piece or more.
I don't even know. Yeah, that's pretty expensive for a page.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like a regular size. Have you seen them?
They're
Those
huge.
things are massive.
Pulpit. That's what they were used for.
Oh,
they were used because at that point it was given to an important official, in a large church.
Yeah.
They were made in Germany. So, I mean, that was, that was the central point was. So, but anything really printed before 1500 is considered a valuable book. Now, some of them can be 3,000 to 5,000 a piece. Some of them can be much, much more. The one I had wasn't that astronomical. I believe it was just a theological piece. I don't remember the exact title. It was a Latin book, but it was in great shape, and it was made with vellum, animal skin binding. The binding itself was made of an much older hand-drawn religious page they used in singing and hymns. And they take those old pages at binderies and they would make book covers out of them because they were low on materials at that time. So it was kind of cool because it not only was it printed early, but it was made from an even earlier manuscript.
It had like a whole
So it had like a whole thing to it, right? Yeah. That was underwater, sewage backed up. I saved maybe 8% of what I had because the rest of it, it's not just the water, but what was in the water too.
Yeah, no, I don't.
It wasn't.
I know what was in some of the stuff in the water. I don't even want to think about it.
I couldn't.
So you take this huge hit.
Yeah.
And what, you're just like, I want to go get megalodon teeth?
No.
See, where's the next step there?
So the coolest thing is my wife and I always enjoyed finding shark teeth for fun on the beach at Casperson Beach and in Venice. And it wasn't something that was a focal point. I did a lot of fossil hunting in Western New York growing up. It was fun, but it wasn't something I ever saw more than just something to do here and there, right?
Yeah.
But a friend of ours that we had met had started a business down in Arcadia where the business is now. And we had seen a flyer. We had went on an airboat ride for fun with the family. Nice. Of course we had no money for a little bit, but actually Newgate helped us tremendously. They did a fundraiser, got us back on our feet. We sold our home up north, so we were able to allocate the funds from the sale of the home to make ourselves survive at least for, about 6 months or so before this whole thing came into play.
Yeah.
We ended up taking this airboat ride, seeing the flyer. We called. We were like, we'd love to do one of these fossil hunts in the Peace River. This looks really fun.
Yeah. And
so we go and we do it. We met the guy, older gentleman, kind of on his way out anyway, kind of, been doing it for a little bit, very, physically kind of done. And I remember looking at Erin, it's my wife, and saying, something's here. I don't know what it is. There's something here. Because I don't know why. It was uncanny how he did that. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, no, I don't either. But something's here. I love this. This is super fun.
Yeah.
Something's here. So crazy enough, the guy that owned that business, we became friends in over maybe 3 months. He brought me on as a guide. He said, you want some side work, to help out and learn?
It's something you like doing.
Yeah. And I'm like, this is awesome. I learn fast. I'm a researcher. I'd love to do it. And within a couple of months of that, he said, I want to sell this business. I don't want to do it anymore. I can't keep up. I said, well, this is, it's growing. I see it growing, but he hadn't used social media. He hadn't used proper advertising avenues.
Yeah.
He hadn't really put the back work behind the actual business. 60, mid 60s.
Yeah.
Mid to late 60s. Yeah.
Looking more to retire.
Right. Just kind of did it for fun. It started to grow interest and was kind of like, I need to be back with the family. It's not what I, expected it to grow like this. So we worked out a deal. I bought him out. And within a year, this thing blew out of the water.
Wow.
And it was like, if we didn't lose those books, I probably never would have did that, because it was like, it wasn't something I ever planned on doing. And I needed to really take, the money wisely from the home and say, if I'm going to invest in something to either start this business back up and buy stock, which is going to be a slow build because they're expensive, or I'm going to go all in and just see what happens here. And I went all in and it was awesome. And now here I am. And it's like, I can't believe, within 3.5 years now, almost 4 years of buying this business, where it's at. Wow. It's been killer.
So what's the growth like?
123% a year right now.
Nice. Those are strong, healthy numbers.
Yeah, and
really strong.
Like scary good.
Guides and stuff.
I do. I have a staff now. Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I have 3 guides at work, 2 part-time, 1 full-time. I'm full-time. So Erin took up a role in it too. She does jewelry after the tours if she's able to get there.
You gotta set up a little gift shop like your Disney World.
Gift shop.
Get off the ride.
I have a gift.
Oh, look here! Now you're in the shop.
Do. I've got shirts.
Got a little tree board out there.
I can
walk through the port.
It's crazy. Well, listen. So the cool thing is, like, I partnered in with Peace River Charters, who runs airboats out of Arcadia. So they have a zoo on the premises, which anyone who comes with us gets to go to the zoo for free.
What sort of zoo animals?
It's pretty cool. They started a year ago. They've got lemurs. They've got capybara. They've got a 14-foot gator, sloth, a lot of farm animals for a petting zoo, all kinds of reptiles. Yeah. It's a really neat little stop in the middle of nowhere, which is really cool about this is you can do a fossil hunt. You can go to that little zoo. You can do a horseback ride. There's horseback riding on the property. You can do a swamp buggy ride, airboat ride. They even have like side things where they offer gator hunting and hog hunting. So it's a lot of activity all in one pivotal area where I'm able to keep my things and have my own little corner for.
So how many boats do you have? I know you take out boats.
So
what type of boats?
His fleet, he's got, I want to say 5 to 6 airboats. Okay. He's got a 14-seater, 3 10-seaters, I think 2 or 3 6-seaters, and then an 8-seater somewhere in there.
Well, I don't know anything about airboats.
They're expensive, and I'm glad I don't own one.
Yeah. So what type of boats do you take your people out on?
Airboats. Yeah, airboats? That's exactly it. So he runs, more or less, it's airboat rides, eco tours, learning about gators, seeing gators, all that stuff. And we, at the time that I bought the business, they had just started kind of linking together with the gentleman who owned it before me and doing like airboat run fossil digs, but it was always one spot, real quick, easy stuff. I said we can do more. We could totally expand this. We're going to go different directions, try different areas, and we went nuts with it.
Don't you eventually get all the fossils or?
So that's the cool thing. Well, I've got access to about 15 miles of river. So even if a spot dries up, we've got alternate spots to go. And if you don't know anything about how it works, fossil hunting in the river,
I don't. But I imagine the river moves stuff. So anything that's down below,
nailed it.
It moves. Pulled up and
that hurricane
around, right?
Will push 8 to 15 foot of water in the summer through there at full bore.
Yeah, that's the one that flooded in that hurricane, and it was like I remember it. It was so like bad. All backed up, and it couldn't leave, and it took like weeks for it to go down.
Yep.
I remember. So did that push up a lot of stuff?
So it did. It was funny. It took a few months, but when the water finally went down, we had our best month ever at that point because of what the hurricane did, because that water was churning and burning and ripping all that stuff out of the sides and throwing it down the river. We were getting into areas where we were getting 20 to 30 megalodon teeth in a trip, which is unbelievable.
What type of tooth is that on your neck?
This one here, this is it's a lesser white. This turned eventually into great whites. It evolved into great whites. The only reason I'm wearing this one.
I know that.
You learn quick.
It looks like a shark tooth that's really big to me. I don't know. I'm just right. So what about that is different than like other?
The color of this one is the reason I like this one.
Because it's called something white. I could see it's like a very
lesser white is the name of the species, or Hestalis if you want to be a nerd, but it's lesser white. They would later become great whites and they would be serrated, so that this tooth evolved into great whites. The coloration on this
then serrated and it just got over time, just like all of them got worn down.
Like any paleontologist, you get 10% of the information and think you know it all. No, honestly, it's still up for debate, right? But there are areas in the world where this tooth has just a little bit of serrations at the base, and then they're finding more serrated stuff in the area too, showing a gradual transition. So that means, that species did come from, the great whites did come from this species.
So why that? And you have it on a regular, Figaro chain?
Yeah, just a silver chain. My wife wrapped it with silver cord, real simple. I like it just because the colors, because you don't see this color often.
I was surprised when I saw it.
I've got a ton of teeth like this, but this one, I didn't put it on for any particular reason. It was just on today when I came here. But some stuff is not all in the river. We do some land-based stuff too. So digging in the land for teeth. When you dig in the land for teeth, sometimes it's only down 8 to 10 feet, which, seems
that sounds like a pretty big dig to me.
It's a big dig.
I dug once before,
Yeah.
back when I was working for the state, I didn't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
And we had a pipe burst, and then and it was underground. Come to find out, it was like a clay pipe, and they already wrapped carpet around it and like tied it.
Yeah.
Anyways, I dug my own hole, and I was gonna try and fix it myself. I just couldn't keep the water out because I lived
Water.
in water kept on coming in. So then I ended up hiring a plumber, but I did save some money digging my own like 6 foot, 7 foot hole.
It's cool.
And it was a fun day.
So like some area, you say that with
digging holes. It's sort of fun.
It's fun when it's already dug for you and you can continue to dig it. But yeah.
Oh, so is that what you guys do? You
excavator. Rip a hole in the ground, depending
I
on.
straight took out a 6 foot hole with the shovel.
Oh, you can do that too.
I did it myself.
You can do that in the summertime in 99 degrees in Florida. It's a blast.
Yeah, that's what I did actually. Luckily, I had a banyan tree over my head. So
okay, we had shade. You had shade,
but still,
we have canopies, so that's a savior there.
So you bring in a big old truck, and they dig a hole, and then people are just sort of chipping away 6 inches.
So if you picture, sedimentary rock, like there's layers, right? So the further down you go, there's different layers, different exposures. Florida's history is crazy because at one point it was all ocean, and then at one point it was twice the size of what it is now, and then that all compressed into one fossil layer. So you get ice age animals mixed in with ocean animals.
I remember I told you about how I found I think they were trilobites. There wasn't really internet back then that worked the way it did now.
Yeah.
But when I was, I think it was in 8th grade. Mm-hmm. It'd be 7th, 8th grade, around there. So I don't know what year that is. I graduated high school in 06. But anyways, they were draining for this new neighborhood. Mm-hmm. It was cheaper to get in Florida.
Okay, no traffic.
In Orlando.
Yeah.
I know. I think I remember you telling me it wasn't that. But they were draining all the water out of this massive lake because it was cheaper to move the water and pump it back in than to get sand and dirt to build the houses.
Right.
So they suck out all the water, and me and my friends, I highly advise against this. If any children are listening to this, probably won't be any children listening to this, do not do this. It's extremely dangerous. Yeah. But it almost became like a waterbed when I went down there.
Yeah, you stand on the clay and it moves when you step.
Once I lost a shoe that way, and luckily I could have lost
your life.
I know I could have. I realize that now, but I was dumb. I was in middle school.
It's okay. But growing up like that's fine.
But it was like 40 feet deep at certain points. Yeah. Or 30, 40 feet. And we were finding all sorts of fossils.
What town was it? Do you remember?
Orlando.
So Orlando would have had what they would consider an earlier deposit. It would have been a lot of sea life. You'd see urchins and clams, and they call them echinoderms or echinoids, I should say. I'm wrong. Echinoids, they're like little sea urchins that you can find. That's probably what you found because they do look a little bit like a trilobite. This is what a trilobite looks like right here.
It looked like that. Yeah. We're looking at his tattoo. Yeah. Anyone listening. So we're going to talk about some of these tattoos.
Had to do it.
You have I see some other
sharky. I got some sharky stuff. I got some other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we won't talk about those now.
No, she's mine. But yeah, I don't know. I just always like expressing stuff. I never really thought of myself as a tattoo guy, but I just got one here, got one there, got one here. Then I got to fill that. Then I got to fill this. Now I got, I got the portrait of my family back here, and
nice.
It's a fun. It's like anything. I guess I'm a healthy obsessive.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about tattoos here in a minute.
All right.
One of my problems is I'm all over the place. That's why.
Me too. That's what the podcast is for.
At work, at work, I got everything laid out. I know what I'm getting done.
Yeah.
I have lists. I have pop-up reminders, everything.
Yeah.
So we're talking about digging holes. And these. So you take them out, they go and they dig holes. Mm-hmm. Are they digging pretty deep or?
So we have one particular area where we've been running where it's only thankfully it's only about 3 to 4 feet down because it's about 500 foot back from the riverbank. Legally, you've got to be 50 foot or more away from the bank to not consider, digging the bank, which is legal in Florida. So we've got
legal or illegal?
It is illegal to dig the banks. So we pulled ourselves back to legal status. We're in an area where we can actually dig legally. It's private property. So as we dig down, there's these gravel bars, like I mentioned, sedimentary rock.
Yeah.
Gravel lines and gravel bars, and you're just taking that shovel and you're basically feeling for that crunch. Same thing you would do in the riverbed. That's kind of what we do, when we're in the river. Yeah. But you're grabbing that gravel, you're putting it on a sifter, you're sifting it, and you're finding what you're finding.
So that gravel is where you're finding it. I sort of know what you're talking about, digging enough holes. Yeah. For some reason, thinking back, I've dug a lot of holes in my day. I have no idea why.
So you're going to
also, when I was a kid, I remember my dad got mad once. Yeah. He's like, why are you digging holes in my backyard? I'm like, I don't know. There's a shovel in the shed. And I just started digging holes. I don't know.
Because you're a boy.
Yeah,
my boys are the same way. It's normal. It's okay, and it's a place to do it.
He liked it though. He still thought it was funny. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But so you sift it, and then what sort of stuff you finding?
Well, again, pretty much anything that can be as old as 2 to 20 million years ago, which is the, your sea life, your shark teeth, your mammal bones like whale or dugong.
You found a whale bone before?
I find whale all the time, every day.
Really?
Yeah.
What sort of bones you find in the?
You can find ribs, vertebrae.
I don't know what they look like.
I wish I had some like show and tell. I didn't know we were going to be like on visuals. I would have totally brought it.
I know. I was thinking that. I'm like,
and I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
But you go on any of our feeds, any social feeds, and you can see.
What are your social feeds, just so people, and we'll plug them at the end.
Of course. Instagram, it's at Fossil Recovery. Fossil Recovery Exploration on Facebook. TikTok at FRE Tours. And then I believe we've got other stuff under Fossil Recovery too. I can't think of off the top of my head, but.
So everyone listening, if you get to this point, you want to see some of that stuff.
Yeah, go there.
Just go there. I know me when I'm listening to podcasts, I'm scrolling or I'm at the gym or something.
Right.
I'm doing other stuff when I listen to podcasts.
We make fun little like reels and stuff. It's really quick. The TikTok generation, we understand. So it's quick to the point, 30 seconds and you're happy. I promise you don't have to sit and listen to some David Attenborough, long explanation of the biological advancement of the earth. No, it's quick.
No, that stuff's interesting.
Yeah, it is. It is.
But
when you have
different.
Time.
Yeah, when you have time. So the whale bones. What's the biggest bone you ever found?
My son and I, he's now in Alaska serving. He was the fossil hunter of all of us. He had it way worse than me. He was out every day, lost jobs over fossil hunting. That's another story.
Imagine that. If any of my employees calling, hey, I'm sorry, I'm
he didn't call any. He wouldn't wake up. He'd dig till 5 a.m. and be to work at 7 and go home and there's the alarm right through.
If I ever get that excuse, I'll be like, okay, this one time.
Yes.
This one time.
Well, he's in the Army now, so there's no more of that.
Yeah, so they don't let you make.
No, he can't do that now. But him and I unearthed a full rib, probably 7 foot, full whale rib that wasn't broken. A lot of them you get broken pieces. He did 6 to 12-inch pieces, and it was full. It was really cool to see it fully intact. And the cool thing about it is it had bite marks on it. So if you look closely at the rib bone, you would see like a rake mark.
What's
megalodons?
Megalodon.
The shark ate it. Yeah.
That'd be cool if you found one of the megalodons.
That's a bucket lister.
Whale.
That's a bucket lister. That's a bucket lister. Yeah, it's hard.
People find stuff like that. Like,
very rarely. I've heard of like 2 or 3 instances of that happening.
Who do you look up to in the fossil world? Because everyone has within their own industry, like, oh, these people, they're great. Who are the best fossil hunters?
Honestly, I think there's one guy that now lives in South Dakota, and he was considered like the godfather of fossil hunting in Florida. His name's Frank Garcia. Oh, yeah. He's had numerous species named after him. He's a really eccentric, crazy guy, off the wall nuts, very unfiltered, and I love that about him.
Yeah.
But he's also extremely intelligent and a hardworking digger. He's found so many things, and this is in the 1960s and 70s, a long time ago. So he's an old man now.
Oh, yeah.
But he's helped me a lot. He's been my go-to. I've been lucky enough to build a relationship with him. So we communicate now, and if I don't know what something is or I'm confused about something, he always is there to help me. It's been really nice. He was nice enough to even send my son letters at boot camp.
Awesome.
My son looks up to him too. So I would say if I had to pick an individual, it would probably be Frank.
So how is there I know where I meet other attorneys that, I see some of the tactics they use in trial, litigation, everything. And I'm like, oh, that's great. And, end up becoming friends with them or other law firm owners. Are there, how do you meet these people? Are there fossil conventions that I don't know about, or?
So a lot of it is I hate to say it, is online. A lot of networking online. The world runs online now.
I find other attorneys I like the same way.
Right, and they're like, we'll often be very innocently just kind of, they've got something cool. I'll say, oh, great find, or they'll do the same with us, and we just, we'll slowly start to communicate and advance that communication. I think a lot of the businesses too, there's a few others that do what we do, just not the exact way we do it.
Yeah.
And we, all ships rise together. We kind of help each other out, which is really nice. Because I grew up, like I said, I was a charter captain, and it was different up north. It was, get out of my lawn kind of thing, everybody's fighting for one little spot.
Especially like fishing, there's spots.
There's a lot of similarities.
And everyone loves fishing. I know there's a lot of captains and everything. And people, I'm in some of the fishing groups here on Facebook.
Yep.
And
Brock Horner. Did you see the video of Brock? I am the world's greatest charter captain.
Oh, I saw that one. So I like the stuff where everyone's trying to hide their spot and fake pictures in the background. It's all blurred and they're just holding a big fish,
holding a snook.
But with fossils, you ever see fossils getting that way?
So unfortunately,
where, people go out with their kids and they're just like, hey, I got an airboat, let's go out, because I do that. I went fishing with my
Yeah.
daughter, and son, do stuff like that. And but so
we don't.
fossils, you think that's gonna happen?
It does. We don't.
Oh, it already does.
Own
There's
the
a whole
water.
fossil world I don't even know about.
It's so much
apparently.
like fishing. It is. There is.
It is?
It's a big thing. If you get into this, you'll never get out. But anyway, it's
all right. Then I'm gonna stay out. I have enough hobbies.
It's bad.
I'm not getting into
seriously
fossils.
an addiction. You will be. If you come out, you're doomed.
I told you I'm afraid to get by an alligator. Even though I used to swim in the ponds.
You're from here. You should know they're not a thing.
Oh, I don't know, but I also know they are a thing.
Well, if you step on them, yeah.
Well, that might happen if.
But they also know you're there before you do. They're not going to wait for you to step on them. They're out of there.
I'll maybe consider it.
Okay, consider it. Fair enough.
I'll consider it.
Fair enough. What was it? Oh yeah. Okay. Yes, people do figure it out. Unfortunately, I'll post something and they'll see some, certain trees or landmarks or things on the edge, and I'll come up into my spot a couple days later and there's someone in there. I can't tell if
these
they leave.
Commercial people, or they're
just locals, or people that rent and paddle for many miles to get to the areas we go to. People are really dedicated to do this stuff, and it's fine. You sort
of have to like it. I mean, they're in the same things as you.
I respect it.
Yeah,
right. And most folks understand if we pull up with a group of people, they'll slide over and give us room, so that our tour guests can do their thing. But it doesn't happen often. It'll happen a handful of times, usually during March and April when everybody's here. It's super busy, as that's tourist season. And, we are a tourist-based company. We do a lot of local stuff too, but we do make our nest egg.
My cousin from Michigan.
Yeah.
He's obsessed with everything.
Yep.
Alligators and sharks.
Yep.
You know what? Next time he comes down,
yeah, he should do it.
If he comes down, I'll go out with him on your boat.
Good. Or we can work something out for Hale people. We totally got.
Maybe we'll do that. Yeah.
Totally got to do it.
Oh, that'd be a good.
I'm telling you,
we do quarterly events where we take the staff out and do fun
team
stuff.
building. Let's build a team.
We rode. We were doing a dragon boating not too long ago.
Yeah.
We raced each other.
Yeah.
Team building. Go out and
just watch everybody freaked out. Yeah, just watch everybody freaked out. It's very
myself though. I don't want to look like that.
What's funny though is like almost everybody that is freaked out. It's like a 30-minute window in the beginning where they're like lighthousing around all day. Like, oh my God, is there a gator? Is that a gator? No, it's a stick. Is that a gator? No, it's a log. Is that a gator? No, it's nothing. And then they realize it's really not a thing. And then every now and then we do get a gator that'll come by. He doesn't come in and hang out. He's trying to get around or go on or, So
these alligators aren't around people a lot, right?
No, some are, some aren't. They see enough boat traffic to know and register that, we're the alpha predator. They don't want to be around us. So if we pull up and we make our presence known, they leave. They really don't have a reason to be there. And they're not going to nest where we go.
Yeah, because you guys are there all the time.
Right. It's like asking a mother, would you lay your baby down next to a wolf? Because that's essentially what they would be doing.
Yeah.
Putting their babies next to us would put them in danger, and they're not going to have a nest where they could potentially hurt their babies.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a lot of, the news always talks about the one guy that got hurt.
I know. See, when I was growing
up,
but
not the millions that didn't.
I went swimming in retention ponds all the time or lakes. And I remember even one time we had a ramp at the end of it. And one of my buddies, he got a new bike, so we were all riding his old bike.
Yeah.
And just jumping into the ponds on our bicycle as fast as we could go.
My kids are now.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not really, I mean, yes, those retention ponds can be dangerous because.
Yeah, probably more so.
Right, because you took their house away.
Yeah, there's nowhere else for them.
Gave them a little hole to sit in and then dangled little doggies along the pond. Of course, they're going to be ready to eat. They don't have their food they used to have. They don't have the home they used to have. Yes, they're starved. Yes, they're scared. I mean, that's something that people need to understand too. When you get upset and they say, terminate all the gators in that community because they had attacked that little dog. He didn't see the person. Gator didn't see the person. He saw little eggs, like, he's programmed to do, eat small animals.
Yeah.
Comes out to eat the animal. The person says, stay away from my dog. And the gator grabs the person to move them out of the way and subdue them so they can continue to chase their food. They're not attacking you. They're defensive. They're trying to eliminate the threat so that they can eat. So
yeah,
it's really.
So you're saying out there in Myakka in the river, like they have so much space and
Myakka is an exception. It's a dangerous river. I'm in the Peace.
Oh, you're in the Peace River.
I'm in the Peace.
I keep on saying Myakka.
It's okay. It's close. They're very similar. But the Myakka,
the Peace River is a little more peaceful.
Well, there's a lot of gators in there.
Yeah.
There's some big ones.
Yeah, you're really convincing me to go out.
No, it's not a big deal. It's really not a big deal. It's so much fun. I promise you.
No, yeah. When my cousin comes, he'll want to go.
Yeah, totally.
You know about that alligator pit?
Deep hole.
What?
Deep hole.
Yeah,
Myakka.
deep hole.
Yeah.
I saw it, and apparently you have to get there really early and walk
you got
like
a ticket.
miles.
It's 2.5 miles.
I was thinking about doing that.
It's awesome.
Have you done it?
Yeah, of course I've done it. Yeah, my kids were little. This is when we first got down here. I think my youngest was 1, maybe 2. He's 7 now, so it was 5, 6 years ago. We brought him down there, and we were pale Western New Yorkers, and it was. I put him down for a second, and I saw one of the gators comes over, and he starts to come toward the edge, and I'm like, he's a marshmallow. That's what happens. I told you when I forget.
Yeah, you're thinking about dangerous stuff.
So I'm talking about my son being I'm in the zone, so forgive me. But he definitely attracted the attention of him. But there are so many gators in that. It's a sinkhole. It's a big sinkhole.
Yeah.
So they're loaded in there. I mean, like astronomical number of gators.
I hear. I saw some pictures.
It's cool.
I'm gonna have to check that.
They're piled on each other there. You don't see that in the rivers or anything. You see one here, one there. There's never like a conglomerate in one area. I've never seen that before in the river. So
I want to talk more about what you found. So you talk about these whale bones. That one sounds pretty.
Whale bones are interesting.
So we already talked a little bit about the whale bone. What are some other really cool things or rare finds that you have over the years?
So there's a lot of when you really get into this, a lot of the little stuff's interesting. But I guess, for somebody who doesn't understand it a lot, I guess I would say I'll focus on some of the more big, interesting.
Yeah, I might not be able to.
Right.
Really
I'm not going to talk about the baby armadillo scute this big that blew my mind. That's not going to keep you going.
I remember one other thing.
Yeah.
I used to do when I was younger. We used to jump on armadillos and grab them by the
Florida
tail.
man.
Dude, those things can just spring up.
Do you see how long their legs are? You don't realize how long their legs are when they move them out. They're goofy looking.
Yeah, if you come up upon an armadillo, I found this out. I was trying to be cool in elementary school when I first saw one jump. I was like, it was PE, and I saw one, and I pretended to chase it, and it jumped up like 6, 7 feet up in the air. They just spring like
that's so cool.
Spring, and I run away, and I start, I'm scared.
Yeah.
But then later on, one of my buddies who was really into like snakes and wildlife and everything, hunting.
Yeah.
So he used to show us we'd go out in the fields and there'd be armadillos that would jump on their back and stuff. So
awesome. That's all I want.
I don't know. Hey, by the way, I don't know if any of this is legal, jumping on armadillos and grabbing them.
It doesn't matter.
No one knew it. It was all when I was in middle school and high school, but
it's a different era.
Yeah, it was different. But those things can jump. So what would be cool about an armadillo you'd find? So I actually find armadillos pretty interesting. So
there's a lot of species of armadillo. They're not necessarily a rare fossil, but it's a regular fossil that's exciting for people. Some of the armadillos that lived here are armadillo-like creatures. They were like the size of Volkswagen Beetles. They were huge. What? They walked around here in the Ice Age. Okay, so I
would hate to see one of those things jump up.
Well, the cool thing is people coexisted with them, and there's archaeological evidence.
Guess you don't have much. Yeah, well,
one of these animals, again, picture a shell the size of a small SUV. The Native Americans would hollow out the shells. They'd harvest the animal, harvest the shell, and use it for like a shelter. So I think that's wild. That's another world. That's right here where you're standing, which is cool.
Juan, how intact do they have these? What are those armadillo things?
The one I'm talking about in particular is a glyptodon.
The glyptodon.
Yep, that's it. Yep. How intact are they? Mostly broken up into pieces.
How do they know these existed?
Because they find them. I find them regularly. They're parts of the shell. But in South America, just in the last 10 years, I think they found 4 or 5 fully intact shells under the ground, like completely intact. And some of them were scraped, and you could tell that they used them for some sort of shelter. They're surmising that it was a hunting area because they had found points near it, arrowheads.
I would love to see one of these.
Oh, you got to Google it.
I just want to see one of them jump. I wish I could see that.
The last thing you'll see.
I mean, imagine if it landed on you.
It's a car landing on you.
Volkswagen Beetle.
Yeah, that wouldn't be very good for you. But
people rode them around. Maybe they domesticated them.
Maybe you were doing this old thing that people did always here. Like you just tapped into some native wisdom and jumped on the armadillo because it's in the area. It
is natural when you see something run around. I think
that's human.
When it's smaller to run up.
Yeah, you want
it and
it's what kids do.
You want to mess with it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not legal, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying I would do it.
No,
I didn't know rules back when I was.
Well, we're talking about animals that have been dead for hundreds of thousands of years, so we're fine.
Yeah, well, if something that's that big and moving, I'm probably running away.
Well, they ate them. People ate them, so they definitely saw them as good.
I remember watching this documentary, and they were talking about humans can walk farther than any other animal on Earth, like the upright position. Yeah. So they would follow all these herds, like big old whatever those big old elephant mammoths. And they would get them to walk over cliffs. Yeah, and herd them.
That's a lot of that would be like northwest. They didn't do. There's no cliffs here.
I was just about to say, but there's no cliffs to walk these giant armadillos.
You would push them over a cliff, and they would continue walking because it's 4 feet high.
Right.
Well, there's a lot of the biggest animal that lived here, and one of the coolest fossils to find that I've been lucky enough to find a claw core of is a giant sloth. The ground sloths, they were up to 4 tons. They were 12 foot tall.
4 tons.
Huge animals that lived here.
This all seems like it's like in Pandora or something, like a whole nother world.
Right. And people, when they come out with us, they start with the shark tooth obsession. And then as you do this more, you realize there's way cooler stuff to find, like these animals, bones of these animals. The claws of this animal, the one I found was about 12 inches, but you can get 20.
That's 20, one claw, like one fingernail.
One fingernail, 23 inches long. So imagine that. Now, they're not meat eaters.
So why are these not more famous? Everyone's always talking about all these other animals. Is Florida, since we haven't been around as long, really haven't as a state.
Biologically, it's got one of the most interesting histories ever.
But I'm saying from like a Western world standpoint, Florida is very young
in human history.
Human history.
Yes.
So
although
why aren't these popular fossil things that you want to find, like you have with like a saber-toothed tiger? Everyone knows a saber-toothed tiger.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, a sloth, a 4-ton sloth sounds pretty cool too.
They are the information's at your fingertips. It's out there. I think really it's kind of crazy, but we're on the cusp of really getting this stuff into the limelight and making it mainstream to know that this stuff was here. Yeah. Because the amount of interest I've gauged over the last just 3 years of doing what I do, people are fascinated by this stuff. They want more of it. They learn about it. When I do, talks locally and things, I'll bring like replicas of these, big claws and things and show people this is just one claw, and they're blown away. They're like, wow, I need to know more. Tell me about this thing. And it lives right where we are now. I mean, you could essentially dig a hole under this building and probably find remains of something like that, which is wild. Interesting stuff is just, there's no end. There's really no end to this stuff. I mean, for me, I could be just as interested in finding an old bottle. We found a 1860s French wine bottle in the middle of this fossil field in the Peace River.
How did they get there?
Right. If you know the history of Florida, 1860 in Florida is like 1550 in New York. So it's old. There wasn't a lot of
this information too. So you talk to historians.
Welcome to the internet.
You just put it on the internet.
No, I don't put it on the internet. I research it.
Oh, you research
it? Yeah. So the bottle, right? I look up, is the bottle made out of 3 pieces? Is it hand blown? Did they put it together? That dictates age right there. The bottom, there's maker's marks. There's a particular way the base of the bottle looks that tells you how old it is. This being the way it was, I was able to know that it was French, and I was able to know that it was from the mid 1850s to 1860s. And the only reason it would be there is at the time, Florida, the Peace River was a phosphate pit. They were dredging it.
They're still getting phosphate in Florida.
Still. Yeah. And they were dredging the rivers at that point. So it must have been a worker, an immigrant that came over, wanted work, had been on a phosphate dock, got drunk on the job, tossed it in the water.
Yeah. Oh, so it was empty.
Yeah. Yeah.
People don't lose full bottles.
No, I don't think they're going to throw dead. Back then, that's expensive. That must have been a special day. But stuff like that happens all the time, weird stuff.
You made me think of the phosphate, and they dredge the whole river. That's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah.
We could talk for a while about that, but Waterside, Lakewood Ranch, all those.
Oh yeah.
Those, from what I remember reading somewhere, those were all phosphate mines at some point, and then they filled them in.
Yeah.
And that's how all those big old lakes are over there.
Yeah.
Is that like real common? Like, what do they go to where the water already is? Is phosphate there, or do they just go in the
phosphate? Is super. Yes, it's super prevalent all through Florida. There's different deposits that are at different depths, right? And phosphate is basically fossil material. That fossils come out of the phosphate,
and then we use it for fertilizer, right?
Right. So like, for instance, Mosaic, the biggest, in all of Florida right
Mosaic. Now. There was a case in law school we learned about Mosaic.
Yeah.
That's when they got all. I mean, essentially, they had this huge, whatever, natural or chemical, whatever,
radioactive,
waste and stuff. Yeah. They happened again recently.
Yeah,
that's when they started their whole environmental thing. Because it was part of, I think, some court case or something.
Yeah.
Don't quote me. I don't want to get sued by Mosaic.
Yeah. No, they're great.
I read the case about Mosaic. It's in most law school books, at least the ones here in Florida.
Sure.
But they ended up starting all that. Sort of community. Environmental.
So there's actually a phosphate deposit in Central Florida called Bone Valley. It's the Bone Valley deposit, and it's, as it states, it's Bone Valley because it's loaded with fossils.
Oh, so these guys who are phosphate mining, they're finding tons of fossils.
They have probably the best collections you'll ever see. Because I've got friends that come in, and the teeth that are in that particular phosphate in that deposit are beautiful colors, bright oranges and bright blues and, white and blue and black and white. Just doesn't even look real. It looks like candy. Because of the particular phosphate that it's in, they absorb the minerals that are around them. So they're high demand teeth. I've seen some of these Bone Valley Megalodon teeth sell for tens of thousands of dollars a piece. So of course, Mosaic deals with some.
You think Mosaic has like a side business?
I think a lot of people have side businesses when they're not looking.
It's all just for fun talking about. No,
don't do it. No, don't trespass.
I don't really know much about Mosaic at all.
Don't trespass. No. But I've seen it, and yeah, it's quite crazy, the stuff that comes out. I mean, full skeletons of animals. In that deposit, the bones are white. And if you have the deposit of the river deposit, the Peace River Formation, they're black. So it's cool.
So there's which ones are more valuable?
Well, it's all about the buyer, like anything. But with it being the colorful stuff and the rarity of it, of course, the more colorful Bone Valley stuff's going to go higher in cost.
Yeah.
But the bigger stuff, you're going to find bigger stuff in that river deposit. Not necessarily prettier, but bigger. Those 4 to 6 inch teeth are going to come out of that deposit that starts right around Arcadia and stretches all the way out into Venice.
Wow.
So at that whole underground shelf there that goes all the way out. So,
and I know you're pretty involved in community service, educating kids. You have kids just like me. Obviously.
I do. I got a pile of them. Yeah.
So what do you do now here in the community?
With Venice, I've been involved a lot with the Venice Shark Tooth Festival. We do a lot of educational.
That's a famous place for shark teeth.
So Venice is the shark tooth capital of the world. It's literally their center of their town is a statue of Megalodon tooth. So what better place, right? So when we do the Shark Tooth Festival, that's every April. That brings in 30 to 50,000 people in 2 days. So it's a huge event.
That many people?
Massive.
I can't believe I go down on the boat all the time down in Venice, Snake Island.
Go there during the Shark Tooth Festival. Go early. You won't leave. You'll be stuck.
There are that many people.
That many people.
My kids would love that.
It would love it. They have bounce houses and face painting, and we do like a little dig for kids. We bring like a bunch of gravel in, put shark teeth in, let the kids find one. Aaron will make a necklace for them. And then I educate them. I bring like replica fossils down in real ones too, and let them hold them and teach them about them. Awesome. So I try to educate a lot of people, not just through the tours, but through the festivals, but anywhere really. I've done some school speeches. I did our old school at Newgate. Every year I did that.
Actually, I remember my daughter. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. She came home one day.
Shark teeth.
My wife picks them up from school, and when I get home, usually hear about school.
Yep.
She was like, Emily was telling me, that's my wife's name. Yep. She's like, oh yeah, they had a guy who all he does is do fossils.
Yep.
I forgot that was you.
That was me.
Yeah, that was years ago.
Yep, I remember.
Like 4 years ago now.
Yeah, that was, I think, one of the first ones I ever did was back then at Newgate. Their teacher was, I think, did you have Jen? Was the teacher?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jen brought me in and had me do that.
Yeah.
And I did.
Hearing about it.
Yeah, I did like a little one there, same idea, just teaching the kids about, applicable for age, of course, what's interesting and fun. At that age, it's all about just cool stuff, right?
Yeah.
At my age,
cool stuff. It's about cool stuff.
Well, it is. I guess it doesn't go away. I never grew up. So, I mean, it's fine. It works for me.
Show me something cool I've never seen before.
I just want cool crap my whole life. That's all I want. Kind of what I've talked about all this. It's weird to think about books too.
Books. I love history.
Yeah. History.
We were talking a little bit about that before.
That's the clincher.
Before the show started.
I think.
And this is history. Teeth and bones are just way back history.
Right.
Like history of animals and
then we get into human history and arrowheads and all. That's another story. That's another podcast.
The arrowheads too.
Yeah. You can't keep them on the tours on public waterways. It's illegal in Florida. But if you have private property and you find them, they're fascinating.
Hey, I don't know if I ever found an arrowhead, but when I was younger, I was in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. I forget where we were. It was in the mountains somewhere. And I found near this lake, it's sort of, whatever. But I found what looked like an arrowhead.
Probably was.
And I kept it for like all the way almost through high school. I found it when I was like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
I don't know whatever happened to it. I might still have it somewhere in like a box.
Gotta find it.
But I don't know if it was actually arrowhead or if my parents just said, wow, very cool.
Yeah.
My imagination just run wild. It might have just been a rock. It looked like an arrowhead. But I think it was a spear.
They make spear tips.
It was, and I remember we went to a museum at one point.
Yeah.
And I was like, that looks like the one I have.
Yeah.
I can still see it in my mind because I looked at it so much.
Yeah. They made them out of agatized coral.
Was that a white rock?
A lot of it is white, yeah.
It was a white rock. It was like yay big.
Reds, pink.
And it wasn't like
oranges.
Super sharp, but then it had a spot where it looked like a piece of wood could fit, and maybe they wrapped it with
the bottom, the base there, yeah.
Yeah.
there's a couple companies that do legal digs in Florida now. They're a ton of fun to go to, but when you find them, a lot of them are made out of that coral where you can literally hold it up to the sun and see through it. It's translucent.
Nice.
And they're so pretty. I mean, like vibrant fluorescent colors. The stuff they're works of art. And sometimes, you do find them digging through fossil beds. You'll suddenly find one, and it's like the best and the worst thing all at once because it's awesome to see, but you can't keep it. So
because of the law.
Law is law, right? It's a functioning business. I have to follow the law.
Yeah,
but how cool would it be?
I mean, I'm a huge advocate of following the law.
Well, look, go figure.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be.
Yeah,
there's so much that you can do and do the right thing.
Yeah.
Don't follow the law, you're gonna get yourself in trouble, and then you can't actually do what you want. Like,
yeah.
imagine if you got shut down, and then you couldn't look for fossils.
Well, that's it. I explain that to customers. I'm like, if I let you keep it, right, and it's innocent, you can keep it. Don't tell anyone, and you just happen to show a friend, and they snap a picture and put it on Facebook, and then someone on Facebook asks where'd you get it, and they say fossil recovery.
Yeah, then you're done.
Bye-bye.
Like you're gonna be an investigation. You're taking away time.
Felony.
What does your regular day look like? Talking about your time. What does a regular day look like? What is the customer? What experience do they get? And what do you call your customers? Fossil hunters?
Whatever they want me to call them. Depends how cool they are.
Yeah.
No.
When do you officially
clients,
fossil
guests,
hunter? How many times do you have to do it?
Oh, geez. You become a fossil hunter the minute you get there. I mean, people that come there already know what they're getting into for the most part. They know that there's an obsession that's blooming. And it's usually people that are coming off the beach in Venice. They want to do something a little bit more. Yeah. Kind of like it was for me. And then when they do it, they're like, wow, this is okay. No more beach.
The beach. I mean, the beach, at least you're at
beach
the beach.
Is fun. You find a lot, but you don't get the bigger stuff or the better preserved stuff.
Yeah.
But the typical day, depending on what vehicle they choose or what experience they choose, again, we have canoes, swamp buggies, airboats, 3 different locations, Bowling Green, Wachula, and Arcadia. Depending on where they are for that day, they're going to arrive. We're going to get them signed in. We're going to tell them about their day. We're going to do kind of what I've done for the schools, give them a little bit of a history lesson, very quick. Walk them through some of the fossils they can find so that
they got to know what they're looking for.
Right, textures and shapes. Right, you got to get a base idea, right? We're there to help you and tell you throughout, but you've got to get a base idea. Because some tours I have, 20 plus people, I can't constantly tell everybody what they're getting every 2 seconds. I try, but I can't always.
Yeah.
And then we go do our dig. I provide the equipment for them. They get the heavy duty scoops that we use. We use sifters, ski poles for probes to try to look for gravel.
Okay, so you have a lot of ski poles down in Florida.
You're the
only one buying them. They're like,
anybody has
guy. He's selling shark.
I need them.
He's buying books,
right?
And a lot of ski poles.
Yeah, it's weird, right? I know. Where's the meth? It always seems deep. Anyway, then we do our dig. We find our things throughout the day. Digs are usually 4 to 6 hours, depending on where we go. You don't need more time than that, I promise. It's tiring. You get done. We go back. We lay everything out that you get. We go through, ID it all. We've got our little gift shop that we mentioned. You can buy some merchandise. We sell, necklaces, fossil kits, which are like pre-made gravel bags with shark teeth in them.
It's like fossils. If you didn't find anything,
right? I've got
or
things.
Find what you're looking
you'll
for.
Find things.
You'll find stuff.
Yeah, you always
if not,
find
here,
things.
just buy it and tell everyone you found it.
Well, it's like you can't feed the addiction enough, so it's like provide more, right? Hats, shirts, all that stuff. So we finish up. Aaron's there sometimes to do necklaces, so the kids can wear home what they find. And then that's the day. And we have a lot of repeat customers. People really love it. It's fun.
Yeah, I bet.
It's fun. Nice. I promise you don't get eaten.
Well, not yet. No one's gotten eaten yet.
Not yet, but I know who to call.
Well, no, I don't know, man. The law, if an alligator eats you, look, there could be an argument to be made.
A preface to like some future thing that happens.
Where you take them, either listen to your guidance. I don't know. Maybe you are at fault if someone gets eaten.
Waiver.
I think I could make an argument. Waivers. I don't like waivers.
I know they are.
I hate waivers in Florida because
I know.
Well, no, because if they're written the right way, they're actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But then there's also anything with an animal. If it's a wild animal, usually you can't sue people, but obviously you'd be taking people there. This is a scenario I have not had in front of me before. I'd do some research.
I don't want to be the first.
I think there could be an argument to be made.
Yeah.
But I don't want to talk about
this is scaring people. Let's bring them back. Bring them back.
I mean, here's a fact of the matter.
Yeah.
I would go. If my cousin comes down from Michigan, he'd want to go.
I bring out people all ages, I've had newborns out. My parents stay on the side with them, but all ages. I've had amputees out with me with one leg. I actually had a lady out this year with me who lost her leg to a gator. when she was young. What? She's from Tennessee. She was visiting Florida, and like the similar case that happened just recently here, she fell off the canoe onto the back of an alligator, and it took her leg off.
See, there you go.
And she's back. About. She was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, I applaud you. I mean, to come out after that, you're the one of like 10 million chances that happened to you, and you're back, and you're on one leg. I think it's wild, you know. Well, it shows you it's a pretty obsessive thing. So,
man, I don't know. If I was out and I lost one leg, I'd be like, well, I'm gonna
alligators are not a factor. It's all about having fun and finding stuff. Really, honestly, just look at any of the videos I have. You can see people there are not afraid. They're having a blast.
So, you know, about to end our first podcast with a guest. If people wanna link up with you, they hear this, they're not afraid of the alligators. I know everything's safe.
All right, I'm so used
to it. May not be good for business. I don't know. Like all you talk about, this guy.
The number one question on my FAQ page on the website. So
it's got to be. You got to answer those questions. So it's safe and everything else. Someone wants to link up with you. They want to get on your boats. What do they do? How do they find you?
Best way is the website, fossilrecoveryexploration.com. There's a lot of information to digest there. The FAQ page, so you can get your fears out of the way. Go right to that. The book now button on any page is going to bring you into showing you what I have available each day. I primarily will run all of our tours anytime from January until about early May. We're still running year round, but with the rains, it changes a lot of the offerings in the summer. Not so much in the river. It's too deep. So we may have more dry digs or other offerings. So website, any social feed you can message us from. Again, on Instagram, it's at Fossil Recovery, Facebook, Fossil Recovery Exploration, TikTok, Fossil Recovery, and YouTube, I didn't mention that before, is at FRE Tours as well. Okay. So, you know, anywhere I'm very easy to find and reach out to. Call me if you have questions, but check the website first.
All right. Yeah, well, I think that officially ends the first guest episode of the One Hale of a podcast, podcast.
Right. Echo into oblivion.
Into oblivion. So I don't know how to end these things because I haven't done it, but I guess it's over now. At some point, my people will cut me off.
I can say something. I can say that
what is it?
I thoroughly enjoy talking with Patrick. Like, if you guys aren't part of this before this, we were in another room talking and we lost time there. And we realized we probably should wait till we're sitting here to talk because he's a great talker and I enjoy having good conversations. I hope this continues for you because this is fun.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, right? Having people going, having people talking, interesting stories. Podcasts that's what it's about. I think that's why they're so interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're not stuck on a quick clip.
Yeah.
We're about to get into a whole nother podcast.
That's it.
Podcast.
That's it. Right. So check out more of these. I'm sure they're going to be cool.
Yeah. One Hale of a podcast. It's over and out. Time to turn these off.
See ya.
Later.